Good morning, all, depending when you're watching this. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to have a little bit of a look at some lovely bits of news. So let's start off having a little bit of a look at a card which we still haven't seen sight nor sign of in English, but it is now coming out in another language. It is that one feature in the first partner Pokémon and Pikachu from Gen 9, which was a pre-order promo if you went and pre-ordered the game over in Japan, or actually in China, for what it's worth as well. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, now it is being made available in Indonesia, which is rather lovely. And the good news is, it's kind of easy to get hold of. Oh, so I should probably clarify that, shouldn't I? When I say easy to get hold of, what I mean is easy to get hold of if you live in Indonesia. If you don't live in Indonesia, it might be a little bit more difficult. They've got some tournaments, you rock along, you participate. What do you get as your participation prize? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you get yourself this. Yay! And this is extremely cool. It is one of the coolest promos we've seen. Furusawa just absolutely knocking it out of the park with this particular, this artwork, this card. I have a couple copies of the Japanese version because, I'm going to be honest with you, I pre-ordered a double pack over in Japan. One of the reasons I pre-ordered the double pack over in Japan was so that I could get 2 copies of this card. I don't need 2 copies, but I have 2 copies, and I am absolutely over the moon delighted that I have 2 copies of it. However, take another look at the card. You will notice there is a fairly big difference between the Indonesian version of this card and the Japanese and Chinese versions of this card. Have you spotted it yet? The game logos. The Japanese version has the game logos on. The traditional Chinese version, remember this was Hong Kong, Taiwan, not mainland China, has the game logos on. But you might notice that the Indonesian version does not have the game logos on. Oh, hang on a second. That's a little bit weird. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a little bit weird. But it's actually not that weird, because we've kind of seen this before. Remember that that Arceus V promo, the absolutely stunning one, that was a pre-order bonus for Legends Arceus over in Japan? Yes, I pre-ordered that game in Japan as well. Look, I'm obsessed, alright? We all knew this about me. You'll notice that the Japanese version of the card has the Legends Arceus logo on it, because it was a promo for the game, whereas the English version of the card, even though it's the same card, same artwork, it wasn't actually released as a promo for the game, even though it clearly kind of is. It doesn't have the game logo on. Now, we know at some point we are getting this promo. It is almost certainly, and I can't say for absolute certain, but I think it's fair to say it's almost certainly going to be in a figure collection, very similar to how we got the Sword and Shield equivalent card. And it's not going to have the game logos on. It is going to look just like the Indonesian card. Remember, we are going to have the lovely silver border. And the only real difference is that we're going to have it written in English rather than written in Indonesian. Other than that, this is what our version of the card is going to look like. And it's kind of awesome, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love this. But this is just another place the card has been made available, and it gives us a nice glimpse into what it's going to look like for us. And honestly, the fact that this is essentially being left out for us, as in the game logos are not being on, is kind of a big deal. While we're talking Indonesia, I do just want to mention, just quickly here, they have gone and done kind of a weird thing. So they've got a promo pack that is being given out, and the promo pack is given when you buy either 5 packs of cards or 1 starter deck. That's not that weird. The weird thing is there are 11 cards that are available, and it is literally the 8 cards from the promo pack over in Japan, including Cycler's REX, but they're also chucking in Ampharos, Mimikyu and Lucario EX that are still in the starter decks. Here's a picture of the starter decks where you can clearly see those EXs are still featured. This is weird. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't just have an 8-card promo pack which exactly copies Japan and leave these EXs in the starter decks. But they haven't. They've got literally the exact same 8 cards from the Japanese promo pack, and they've whacked these 3 EXs in there as well. And as a side note, I really like this, because now instead of 1 out of 8 cards being an EX, 4 out of 11 cards are an EX, which means your chances of getting an EX, one would imagine, are greatly increased. Unless they're not. Unless the X's are just as rare as they would have been, but now you've only got a 1 in 4 chance of getting the Cyclozar, which is only available here. That would actually suck. But let's assume that's not going to be the case. I just thought this was weird. Do you know what else is weird? You can take part in events over in Indonesia to get a gym promo pack, and there are some things we would be expecting, like Clawfee X, which was a promo over in Japan, a gym promo, so it makes sense it would be here. But Magnezone and Toxicroak are just from Scarlet and Violet. But now they've got gym promo stamps, which they're not supposed to have. Over in Japan, they don't have gym promo stamps, because as it stands at the moment, the only gym promo, in terms of EX, is Claw. Cyclozar doesn't really count, it wasn't a gym promo like that. So this is kind of weird. They've taken 3 EXs that should just be in the starter decks and whacked them in a promo pack, and then they've taken 2 EXs that should just be in the set, and they've whacked them in a gym promo pack with stamps on. Which makes the Magnezone and the Toxicroak here kind of weird and unique and extremely awesome. And I'm kind of into this, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. I am kind of into this. Now, I don't know for absolute certain, but I would imagine that these would be cards that would still be available in the set. I don't know, let's be clear. I'm making an educated guess here. But I would imagine that these would still be available just in the set. That seems to make sense to me. And now we got this weird thing where you can get them in the set, but there's also stamped versions you can go and pick up. It's weird, ladies and gentlemen. It's weird, but I am totally into it. And one last little piece of news, which I do think we need to have a little bit of a chat about here, because this is kind of awesome. Look how cool this playmat is. It's a champion playmat, which is actually a little bit sad for me, because I legit love this playmat. I think it's brilliant. It is where you go to just leagues and play, you have to win tournaments in Indonesia to actually get this. It's not going to be easy, and I know it's CG artwork, and we're not supposed to like CG artwork and all of that, but look how beautiful this mat is. And it's got my boy like right in the middle there. I'm not talking about Quaxley. And you know what? Yeah, this is kind of awesome, and I'm kind of loving this, and I am a big, big fan. I will never have this mat, because I'm not going to go and play in Indonesia, and even if I did, I'd probably come like second and not get the mat, just because that's as close as you can get and still fail, which I feel like is what would happen. Either way, I love this, and it's awesome. But what's that, you say? One awesome champion playmat is not enough for one video? Well, actually, weirdly, I can show you another. Now, it's not over in Indonesia, but if we pop over to Thailand for a moment, the Thailand Town League 2022 to 2023 Sword and Shield Final Battle Champion playmat, shout out to Nutcard for the picture and PokeGuardian for helping us find it, looks like this. And it kind of looks a little bit like we've gone back in time. This does not look like a champion playmat from 2023, because the most recent Pokemon we've got there, you know, we've got Gen 1 in terms of Pikachu and Mew, we got Gen 2 in terms of Lugia, we got Gen 4 in terms of Dialga and Palkia, and then like nothing, and we're just going into Gen 9 now. You know, the champion playmat from Indonesia literally has the Gen 9 first partner Pokemon, and now we're instead looking at this mat, which legitimately looks like a mat from like the mid-2000s. And I love it. But it does look like an old school mat. It does not look like a new playmat. There's a really busy pattern behind it, where you've got kind of backs of Pokemon cards, damage counters, burn counters. We got energy symbols there. It's really, really cool. I love this. It really does not look like a 2020s playmat. It really looks like mid to late 2000s, And I just love it. Again, it's another playmat I will never own, but because I'm not going to go to Thailand, and even if I did, I'd come second and not win the playmat. But you know what? It's still the kind of thing I had to show you. Speaking of which, one last little thing. We now have had a proper look at the Pawmi Cora promo, which is not a good card, let's be clear, but it's beautiful, and it is exclusive, and it's got the Cora Ichiban stamp on it, so you know, I want it. And actually, more than want it, I have ordered this. I couldn't find it shipped from Amazon Japan to the UK, so somewhat annoyingly, I've had to use my proxy address, which I don't really like mucking about with, but hey-ho, I did it. Because I had to have this. I had to have this promo. I did miss a couple of the Sword and Shield magazine promos, which makes me feel a little bit bad about myself. I'm not missing any of the Scarlet and Violet magazine promos. It's not happening. If anybody's wondering, it is this issue of the magazine. Again, my boy is front and center. That cannot be a coincidence. You can see the Pawmi promo on the front there. If anyone's wondering what the card does, I've translated it myself. I'm pretty sure it's correct. We've got flip a coin, if heads, discard an energy attached to the defending Pokemon, or your opponent's active Pokemon if you want to be a pedant. Which means it's not a good card, because the 50 HP is pretty terrible, and 2 energy, 20 damage, get rid of an energy on a coin flip. I'm not arguing this card is good, I'm arguing it's a cool Japanese magazine promo, and I want it, which is good, because I've already bought the magazine. It's sitting in my P.O. box over in Tokyo. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think about all this cool stuff. I want to know how jealous you are. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, chat with us, all kinds of fun things. Oh yeah, and get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely The Unknown One, who's been a supporter of ours for a few months now, and seems to be a very lovely person. So thank you very much for all the support, and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.